Well, John Hughes, I've been following your career as a writer. Mr. Mom, you wrote that. National Lampoon's Vacation, you wrote that. Now you're making your directing debut in a screenplay that you wrote, and so congratulations to you.
Thank you.
I guess the obvious question is directing harder or easier than you thought?
The actual production is easier than I thought. Post-production was a lot more difficult. I had no idea how many times I'd have to watch the movie. It's hundreds of times. No, it's actually easier than I thought.
And the technical part of it didn't bother you at all?
I don't have to get, I mean, my main intent in directing is to get the performances from the actors, to execute the story correctly, clearly, fill it up with wonderful little performance pieces. I'm not a technical director. I mean, I'm not interested in lenses or all the other technical aspects of it. I mean, I establish a look for the picture and and a visual style, but I don't look through things very much. I mean, I spend most of my time with the actors.
I suppose, John, that really every writer dreams of getting to direct his own project, doesn't he?
This writer did.
Okay, because then you have the control.
Well, you also, another thing that's real important is that writing a screenplay it is not, you're not done. I mean, you haven't completed the idea. You've just taken it a certain distance. Then a director comes in and takes it the rest of the way. And it's very frustrating for me, anyway, to take an idea, take it halfway, give it to someone else, and let them take it the rest of the way, and not to follow the whole process through. Because a screenplay, when you've completed a screenplay, you really have only completed part of the total project. So it was something that I wanted to do, just to follow the process all the way through.
Does that mean, John, then that you weren't completely happy with Mr. Mom, or not completely happy with National Lampoon's Vacation?
Well, see, having written the scripts, I had a completely different idea of how they would come out. I mean, I had seen those scenes. When I wrote them, I saw them, I visualized them. So it's very strange to go and take a look at the film and see it done differently and think, oh, it should have been done that way and this should have been there. I mean, I can't complain about the two pictures. I think Michael Keaton did a great job. Michael Keaton did a better job of Mr. Mom than I ever thought Mr. Mom would be. You know, he was really extraordinary and really kept the project together. Vacation was, in many ways, it was Chevy's father and my father were very similar, because I based the character in the short story and the screenplay on my father, and he based his performance on his father. And fortunately, we had similar fathers, so I mean, it was nice. I thought he did a good job.
If I understand it correctly, John, this movie, 16 Candles, started out to be the story about the girl, and apparently you weren't really thinking in terms of making it such a rollicking comedy. Is that accurate?
No. I wanted to make a very realistic movie about what it's like to be 16, what it is truly like to be 16, and to compress a lot of those things that you feel and that you experience when you're 16 into one day. And it became, it was never really a comedy, it was never really a drama. It had a little comedy, had a little drama. Life is not always funny, life is not always tragic. And to portray it realistically, it's got to have a mix of both. I think it's a little more comedy than drama, certainly, because it makes light of a lot of serious subjects, and you laugh at a lot of the problems that she has, because generally you've been through the same thing and you've survived them. You know, it's not happening to you. You know.
Some of the scenes, to me, John, did have a bit of the lampoon flavor to them. Mm-hmm. Now, was that something that you decided to do, or did somebody say, hey, maybe we can make it even more commercial if we put this lampoon?
No, I did. No one did that, and I didn't do that to I didn't say, well, how will I make this more commercial? I think that's a very, very good way to ruin a movie, is to say, okay, now how can we maximize the box office gross? That never works. I felt that, to make it accurate and real, in some areas I had to push it to the edge. A lot of times kids are very cruel, you know. It isn't so much that they're cruel, they're very honest. And I mean, I wanted that picture to be very honest. And the geeks, the character of the geek who is in love with this girl, and she's the last person in the world that you'd ever want to have in love with you, is annoying beyond belief. But turns out to be, there's a reason why he's annoying. It's because he's trying to impress people. He's trying to make a mark, and carve out some little niche for himself. And the more lampoon-like elements of the picture, and that's part of my style. And I like to take things to a comic extreme once in a while, just to say, no, I'm not afraid to go this far. This picture is not afraid to go this far, just as it's not afraid to be touching. When Paul Dooley and Molly Ringwald have a scene in Night where he remembers her birthday, is almost sentimental. But it has some jokes within that scene, which I thought were important, you know, so that you don't, everybody doesn't start yelling at the screen, you know.
John, would you, at age 16, were you more like the geek or were you more like Jake?
Oh, no, I was not Jake. I was not Jake. I was much more geek-like. I was not a Jake. Did not have a car. Didn't have those cheekbones. No, I wasn't. I was more the geek. I had to make my way by moving fast and lying a lot.
And the girl, was she somebody you knew or you know?
There's a lot of me in her. The way she fits into her family was very much the way I fit into my family, which is not, you know, I mean, I was sort of the middle child, you know, and I know what that's like to have some great event going on and something going on in your life and everybody forgetting about it. I know what those feelings are.
Well, you certainly do portray them beautifully in your screenplay and as the director. And I think this movie just has to be a big hit. I don't see how it can lose. What did this film cost?
It was about $7 million, I think.
Yeah.
6
Well,
million.
it should return, well, what? Maybe 7, 8, 10-fold, maybe? Anyway.
I hope so.
I hope for your sake it does. And very nice having a chance to talk with you today here in Chicago, John. Good luck
Thank you very
to you.
much.
Nice interview.
Well, thank you.
Okay. As screenwriter turned director, do you find directing harder or easier than you thought it was going to be?
Yeah, let's cut to the side.
All right.
Let's get up to speed and go ahead. Go right ahead.
Did you find directing easier or harder than you thought it was going to be? Does that mean then that you were dissatisfied with the way Mr. Mom and National Lampoon's Vacation turned out? Is it true that you started out to do more a story of the girl and then got into the more comedic aspects of it? There seems to be, at times, an almost lampoon quality about the film. Now, was somebody saying, hey, that's the direction to go to make it more commercial, or did you, for some reason, want to do it that way? Of the two male characters, the geek and Jake, the handsome one, which one was most like you at the age 16? What was your inspiration for the girl? Do you know someone like that, or did you know a girl like that? Okay. All right, just reactions now. that should do it.
Looks good.